Guys, Dr. Von Mad here, and if you remember, Halloween's approaching, and they've already got some Halloween stuff up at Dollar Tree, so here we are. Last year, if you guys remember, I painted little Frankie here. So, if you're going to have Frankenstein, and by the way, it's like the 200th anniversary of the writing of Frankenstein. So, everybody, happy birthday, Frank. Now, 200th anniversary, yeah, that's it. Anyway. And today was, either today or yesterday was Mary Shelley's birthday, so that's cool. I love Frankenstein. Anyway. But, I found this. Now, we'll see if I can get, there we go. As you can see, we have a little Dracula. And I don't know why they never packed the colors you need. You'd think Dracula, you'd have some blood red or something. But what they sent was a little packet of paint, which has yellow, purple, and black. And we've got this little guy. So what we're going to do is, most people would just kind of paint the colors, but you've seen me do these things before, so you know what I'm going to do. We're going to start. I'm actually going to use the paints they got here to start with, but I am going to finish it with my own touch. So, with no further ado, let's get to it. As you can see, he's all white right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to start at the head. I may not continue to use this brush. This brush is a little awkward. How they expect you to get anything done with it. It's a very crude tool. But we expect for $1. On the other hand, the sculpture itself appears to be like a plaster or chalkware type stuff, and it's actually quite quaint, quite cute. But I don't care for their brushes. But we will use what they got here. Oh, let's see. This brush is not particularly great. Losing hairs off of it. And if I run out, I'm going to use some of my paint to finish this job. But I'm going to use up this paint here because, well, it's here. Now, I'm pretty sure they only meant for you to color certain parts of him black. That's not how I roll. You always end up giving everything a black coat because it starts off black and then you can work in your colors and you'll have a better painted product at the end. My cousin Connie showed me that one many years ago. And it has carried, that painting method has carried me through many a year. So we'll flip this over. I will say this paint dries pretty fast. There we go. Now, I'm wanting a chance to do some art, and tomorrow I should have some interesting stuff for video. Once a year here, we have a thing called a 30-mile yard sale. For those of you in Great Britain, imagine a thrift store the size of a small town, with like hundreds and thousands of things. So, and I can already hear Granddad thinking how cool that would be. I'm sure you guys have flea markets and yard sales too, swap meets or whatever. I don't know what you guys would call them over there, but they have a little of everything. First firearm I ever purchased, I purchased at a yard sale. Of course, I don't have it now, but I traded it off. But, yeah. Some of the coolest things ever you can find up there. That big Cyclops that I use in some of my videos. Got him at a 30-mile yard sale. So, I'll end up having to use some of my own paint because something tells me the supplied paint is going to run out long before. It's obviously designed for a child because this is hurting. Using this little tiny brush is literally killing my hands. But an artist, that's what he does. So, about to run out of the black paint, and I'm going to start getting into my own paint. And then I can start this painting business in earnest. But I wanted to show you just how difficult this is to paint with this little tiny brush. I got a bird outside my door. But yeah, I'm hoping I'll have some footage of that. I'm going to try to anyway. I know I'll at least have the haul. But I'm going to try to have some footage of the flea market and the yard sale itself. So you can buy a lot of cool things. What we're going to do is, because times are tight, we're going to only allot $5 a piece for the 4 of us to see what we can find. Which means you may not spend your money on everything. Now, so who knows what I'm going to come up with from all that. But we are almost out of this black paint. So I'm about to set him down for a minute. This brush is not particularly good. I will say that. Now, we are going to go to my paint now and my brushes to finish this. I just wanted to show. I actually got 2/3 of the way through it, but still. Grab my paint and my brushes, my paint rag to clean this off with. Now we can do this in earnest. See how this paint dries quick, though. I will give it that. I will give it that. That paint dries very fast. I don't know how good a paint it is, but it dries pretty quick. I just got through painting it, and it's already dry to the touch now. You can also see it's hollow underneath. Now, leave him here for a few minutes and let him dry, and we'll be back. Be back in a few minutes. Hey guys, Dr. Von Mad here, and as you can see, he is quite dry now. We got to figure out what we're going to do with him next. We don't want to use just purple and orange. So, tell you what, be back. Alright guys, Dr. Von Mad's back, and we'll be doing a couple of videos here. I'm trying to do 2 concentrically, so bear with me. Alright, the first thing let's do is we're going to go ahead and start painting on the next layer of our vampire here. On old Dracula here. So what I'm going to do is take my hat off. We just got back through the door. And we're going to start with a little gray on the hand and on the head and hands, so that I can get, so that this kind of brings out some coloring. Now I'm going to use a little less gray than I normally would. So we're going to end up having to touch up some stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and paint his ears. And I'll have to probably do a little touching up on stuff to kind of... Now, don't want to have quite so much paint. Go ahead and paint up the hand and head. The hands and his head to kind of get the... I'll probably have to touch it up a little bit when I'm done. Now, his hands, this hand's covered by his cape, so... But... I think he's holding an apple. Strange. So, we're gonna let that dry a few minutes here. Let me turn him around. There we go. Actually, I kind of like that coloring as it is, but we'll touch over it with a little white anyway. Now, go ahead and do his vest, and for that I am going to go back to the colors that were provided, but we're going to use my brushes. Okay, now and that was Kid mad knocking something over. I tell you what she was doing, even though she probably just kind of gave it away, but that would be spoilers. So what we're going to do, I'm going to give him a little purple bow tie. Maybe a little bit underneath here with a cape. Kind of give him a little bit of a cape liner. So, yeah, I'm going to be very busy today. I've got some videos to do. Spot that I did not get good, so I'm going to try to cover it up best as I can. And that's... we're going to come up right there. Now, I'll probably, like I said, have to touch it up a piece. Now, see here. I'll go ahead and get some more of this black out and kind of touch up the spots that I overlapped into where I didn't want them. Oh, don't knock over my paint. Let's see. Be very, very cautious here. My hands are not as steady as they once were. Get his widow's peak here, and as you can see here where it kind of went up over the top, around here, and I just don't want to go too crazy on it, but I do need it done. There we go. Now, there we go. Now, to bring this up, I'm going to paint his pants. I think I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with a spiced berry, kind of a dull red. And yes, I'm aware that it blends in a little bit much with this, but I kind of like this look. There we go. Turn it. Have to be very, very cautious. There we go. Now, I'm going to go ahead and back to the black for a minute. I think there's some buttons on his coat here that I want to add. No, there doesn't seem to be any open buttons. So, tell you what we're going to do. Let's work on his face just a hair. Now let's work on dry brushing his face first. That's probably the best bet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a very, very fine brush. That should do it. I got 9 more minutes on this one, so we got a little time to work on it. Alright. So... Okay, that looks pretty good. I'll dry brush off some of this paint because I don't want to go nuts with it on here, but I do want to add a little bit of, make him a little bit paler than he was. Matter of fact, he should be much more impaler. See what I did there? I'm trying to kind of dry brush this in. I think his gray paint's still a little bit damp. So I need just a pinch right through here. There we go. Now we're going to let that dry a few minutes. And we'll be back with you when it's dry. Alright guys, we're back. We'll be working some more on this. As you can see, he's now dried, but I'm going to have to figure out something. Gotta figure out how I'm going to get those little tiny details in. So I gotta find the finest point brush that I have. And so far, I don't have anything I think is that I would trust being fine point enough to reach. Maybe the little one hair brush that I got here might do it, but I'm not gonna hold my breath. One thing, I got a stray hair sticking up on this thing. There we go. I had to trim this hairs back a little bit. So let's start with a little white. Now I know I painted his face white. I may end up having to go over. Alright guys, we're back. Battery ran down. So we're going to try to get the white on the eyes or on the fangs, but I'm not holding my breath as I think I may have his face a little bit too light. I may end up coming back in and tinkering with it a little bit. But we're going to try it, and I'm hopefully going to be able to do it. But we'll see what we can do. Yeah. I have to put a couple of coats on it to get that. You really can't see it. See? They don't really stick out well. Oh. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to dry this off a minute. I need a little extra color. I mean, it is Halloween. But I don't want to use purple. I used purple for his outfit. I got an idea. I'll be back in a minute. As gauche as it is to repaint the face at this late hour, I think that's what we're going to end up doing. What I've decided I'm going to go with is a little, I believe this is called Summer Sky. Yes, I'm going to give him a blue face. And the reason is it'll contrast well with the Frankenstein's face that we used already. And it will give it a little extra color and a little extra pop and zing to it. So we're going to go with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and just kind of see if I can get something that'll sides. If we reason this out, Dracula being a vampire, he's going to be a dead guy anyway. So it is perfectly reasonable for him to be a tad blue in the face. While I figure out exactly how to get the best detail on his mouth and fangs. So, oh, I got a little extra and I'll have to touch that up. Now, go ahead and clean my brush off and see if I can get some of this. I think I got a little too much paint on his face, so we're going to clean the brush off. Close up the paint. I'm going to see if I can brush some of this down to smooth it a little bit. I mean, you can see from here he's got a bit too much paint on him. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull off some of that paint. Pull some of this off, a bit of stray hair coming off this brush. Don't need any extra bristles. And we'll have to repaint the sideburns and the widow's peak, but such is life. Now, this paint is already turning color. Now, while we are in the neighborhood, there actually is the first splotch of red that we're going to be seeing tonight. And that's going to be his apple. He seems to have an apple in his hand. So, interesting as I'm using candy apple red, so I guess that works just fine. And I got this one at Dollar Tree for, well, you guessed it, $1. Now, I like the Frankenstein one better, I think. He's not quite as, Frankie's not quite as fussy whenever you're painting a vampire. You're always going to have some issues with different things. Now, so he's got his candy apple here. Now, let's see. See if he's dry yet. Hey, he's dry enough. Not. Now, first thing we're going to do is let's go in here. I'm going to give him red eyes. I'm pretty sure he's supposed to have that. They wanted him to have black ones, but I'm going to give him red ones because that's what I do. See? Now, let's go ahead and get some white paint here. We are going to come back to the red because, well, he's a vampire. So, that necessitates some blood red. So, let's go in now and see what we can do with his fangs. See if we can touch him without. Yeah, you can see him pretty good. Now, go ahead and wash that off. I'm going to break this little brush out now and come back to the red. And the reason will become, well, gruesomely apparent. There you go. Now, he does in fact have little buttons on him. I can see them now. I'm going to go ahead and touch those up. Give him red buttons. I think that's a nice touch. Maybe some red liner at the bottom of his shoes. He's supposed to be kind of a whimsical Halloween decoration, so putting little bits of bright color Halloween doesn't always have to be spooky, muted colors. Matter of fact, I would dare say it, sometimes the garish nature of Halloween colors makes them more frightening. Roll him over and try to avoid getting blood everywhere. Or at least blood red paint. Now, I enjoy doing these paintings like this, but man, my hands are just not what they once was. Because I'm going to have to touch it up. I've got a little paint in places I didn't want the paint to be. Go ahead and wash off the one hairbrush, because I actually do need it for a couple of smaller little details. In this case, we need to go back to the black for a couple of things. For one thing, to patch up where I went overboard with some of the paint in other areas. For starters, I got a little bit of red paint right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and see, I got a little bit right up here on the widow's peak. So we're going to touch that. Turn him. Got a little bit right here. There we go. And a little right there. Now here comes a bit more of a delicate business. There you go. That looks pretty decent. We'll touch it up a little bit more. I see some other places for improvement. Like right up here around this collar. See, I got just a little bit right there. Just kind of any kind of place where I see paint where it should not be. Oh no, that looks good. So, let's see what we got. That looks pretty doggone good. Let's see what the light happens when you turn off the lights. Oh yeah. Much better. Alright guys, I did this one last year and this one, the vampire dude, this year. Which one do you think I did better on, guys? Leave a comment below. If you like this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to get notified. And I will see you cats on the flip side. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. And God bless.